Okay, let's be honest. Some TikTok trends need to disappear. I'm talking about the ones that are not just annoying, but a little bit problematic. From the clean girl aesthetic, which I personally think is more harmful than chic, to the endless obsession with low-waisted everything. Trust me, you don't want to miss this because shit's about to get real and you probably totally disagree with me. Today we're counting down 10 TikTok fashion trends that need to die and why we deserve better. Disclaimer, I'm not here to drag anyone for rocking these trends. I'm a firm believer in wearing whatever makes you feel good. If you disagree, I totally want to hear it. Drop your comments or any other trends that need to end in the comment section. 1. Undies as shorts. I recently came across a TikTok video that made me crack up.
Does this become a joke now?
No. What do you mean? What do you mean? What is that thing?
What is that?
There's nothing wrong with wearing daring clothes, but it's all about context. If you're at a music festival like Coachella, or if you're on stage performing like Megan Thee Stallion, I get it. I'll always support women dressing however they want, but when that choice is reduced to a trend that primarily appeals to the male gaze, then I think we all need to take a step back and ask ourselves the question, is it actually empowering or is it being used for shock value? 2. The clean girl aesthetic. Okay, let's talk about the over slicked back hair, minimalist style that the likes of Hailey Bieber, Bella Hadid, and Ariana Grande are rocking. It's a vibe that only a small group of people can pull off. I personally find it really harsh and uptight, and I think it's an aesthetic that is super Eurocentric. What about people with textured hair that just doesn't slick back like that? Or textured skin, or rounder, less defined features that don't fit the whole snatched aesthetic. And then there's this weird undertone about natural beauty. If you're wearing bold makeup or if you're dressed in a flashy way, it's somehow seen as less real. The whole hierarchy of beauty being naturally effortless over being try-hard feels super problematic to me. Beauty is beauty, whether you're rocking full glam or wearing no makeup at all. The pressure of looking like you woke up flawless is so exhausting, and I think a lot of us are over it. 3. Low-waisted everything. We're in the Y2K nostalgia era, and the low-waisted cut plays a big part in that aesthetic. I don't believe we always have to dress in ways that flatter our body type. The whole idea is outdated. And I certainly am not saying that only thin people or people with a flat stomach can rock the low-waisted style. But let's not kid ourselves and say that low-waisted cuts are universally body-friendly and comfortable. Low-waisted designs seem to reinforce this narrow beauty standard that only a certain body type is fashionable or acceptable, and that is super unhealthy and unrealistic. And from a practical perspective, low-waisted cuts tend to make the outfit feel a bit disjointed. It's trickier to style and harder to wear for everyday activities like just sitting down or walking comfortably. Comfort, practicality, and inclusivity should always take the lead. 4. Ultra micro mini skirts. They are so impractical, and I struggle to see how they fit into any real wardrobe. Do you really want to worry about flashing someone every time you sit down or bend over? If it's serving a purpose like a specific idea for a runway, I get it. But for everyday wear, it's just not functional. To me, this trend brings back the memories of Paris Hilton, Britney, and everything that was problematic in the early 2000s. The trend embodied a hypersexualized ideal. Does every woman need to use clothing to highlight her body in such a specific way to be considered fashionable, especially when that ideal is often for the male gaze? Plus, there's the issue of body inclusivity. I think fashion should be about confidence, not about trying to fit into a tiny piece of cloth that constantly makes you feel self-conscious. If you love showing off your body and that's your vibe, by all means, please don't dim your light. But if we continue to support trends like these, I question whether we are collectively pushing an unhealthy, unrealistic ideal, especially when so many young people are struggling with body dysmorphia. Are we being responsible? 5. Tradwife Core. Okay, this one rubs me the wrong way, and it's not just about the aesthetics. The whole vibe romanticizes gender roles that are super outdated, and it suggests that a woman's place is in the home. Don't get me wrong, I have absolutely no issue with women choosing a domestic lifestyle, but making it seem like a woman's role is in the home and hyping this aesthetic to be something to look up to feels pretty backwards and regressive. I think the cottagecore aesthetic is super cute and there is nothing wrong with rocking a vintage dress, but I see it as entirely different from Tradwife Core. It's nuanced, but when an influencer leans into this aesthetic to project an undertone of submissiveness, that's when it starts to bother me. 6. Coquette Core. I'm not against the occasional bow or ribbon. When used right, those little details can really elevate an outfit. But when we talk about Coquette Core, I think it's worth diving deeper into what it actually represents. This trend tends to reinforce outdated gender roles, and it often plays into the male gaze. I feel like it perpetuates the idea that women should be seen as delicate, vulnerable and submissive. Some people might feel like this is just a fun, flirty style. I can't help but feel like it kind of unintentionally infantilizes women. It's like we're always expected to look cute and innocent rather than being complex, independent people, and I honestly find it a bit limiting. Another issue is that Coquette Core tends to lean pretty Eurocentric. It's all about pale skin, delicate features, and slim body types. Let's be real, that doesn't work for everyone. It leaves a lot of people feeling like they don't fit the beauty standard that's set by this trend. Now, I totally get that for some people, this aesthetic is a way to express themselves. But we've got to take a step back and think about how much of it relies on the old tropes of women being soft and fragile. I'm all for self-expression, but not if it means we are reinforcing harmful and outdated ideas about what women are supposed to be. 7. Cybersigilism Tattoos. Some may say tattoos aren't fashion. I reckon because of their permanent nature, they're tied even more deeply to our style and identity. For those who aren't familiar with the trend, cybersigilism is the fusion of futuristic tech meets mysticism designs that are all over TikTok right now. Cybersigilism taps into online subcultures like dark wave, solar punk, and techno-futurism. On the surface, they're cool because they combine digital aesthetics and deeper symbolic meanings. But here's where I get skeptical. How many people are genuinely connected to these subcultures, or are they just jumping on a trend? It feels like we're trying so hard to be different that ironically we all end up looking the same. Sure, it's trendy now, but will it age well? Cybersigilism often borrows symbols like runes, sigils, esoteric markings from Norse, Celtic, African, and indigenous traditions. When we use these symbols purely for their aesthetics, without understanding their meaning, it becomes questionable. Are we celebrating these cultures, or are we just cherry picking their symbols without understanding what they actually represent? I think it's worth asking, will these tattoos feel meaningful when cybersigilism isn't trendy anymore? 8. Quiet luxury. Quiet luxury is minimal, sleek, and polished. It's about looking put together without slapping on a bunch of logos, but honestly, it feels a bit exclusionary. It feels like a uniform for a very specific group of people rather than a celebration of personal style. Take New Zealand Fashion Week a while back as an example. Everywhere you looked, it was honestly neutral tones galore. Where was the creativity? For this trend to look the part, it's all about the quality of the garment, and not everyone has the budget for that cashmere coat or that $500 blazer. It often feels Eurocentric and classist. If you lean into this trend without the budget, the quality of the pieces just falls flat and you end up looking like a templated, uninspired version of the original intent. I believe there's a difference between looking put together and actual fashion. Both things can coexist, of course, but let's not act like quiet luxury takes a ton of creativity and individuality. To me, fashion is about self-expression, taking risks, showing some personality, maybe even making a few mistakes along the way. 9. Bubble skirts and bloomers. First off, I'm a fan of bringing back certain aspects of 80s, 90s and early 2000s fashion. Puffy, exaggerated silhouettes are visually striking, and they are way more experimental and interesting than something like Quiet Luxury. But the current take on this trend feels different. Instead of looking high fashion, it's got this cutesy energy that can feel infantilizing, and I'm not a fan of that. Is it self-expression, or is it reinforcing outdated ideals of what femininity should look like? And then there's this weird take on the silhouette. Bubble skirt mixes with quiet luxury. It doesn't feel avant-garde or particularly high fashion. It actually leans into a trend moment that feels super templated. It's giving wedding guest uniform. Silhouettes like these don't always translate the same across a variety of body types, and there's no point in chasing a trend that makes you feel self-conscious. These pieces scream, I'm trying to look editorial. When trends like this are pushed to us as the next big thing, it's worth asking, do they actually make people feel confident and comfortable, or are we just subscribing to yet another fleeting fashion moment? 10. Looking snatched. In the past year or two, I can really feel the resurgence of an unhealthy, unrealistic beauty standard that we should have left behind in the 90s and early 2000s. From the rise of Skims and shapewear to Ozempic, face taping, everyone is obsessed with looking tight. I blame the fashion industry and media. The snatched look has become practically synonymous with high fashion, even though it's wildly unrealistic for most of us. The viral "is it fashion or is she just skinny" trend sums it up perfectly. What we see on social media, on celebrities, or on the runway isn't always groundbreaking design. Sometimes it's just ordinary clothes draped on impossibly thin bodies and marketed to us as aspirational. If the same white t-shirt and jeans were worn by someone that isn't built like Bella Hadid, would people still consider it fashion? Looking snatched has become a form of social currency, and I can only speak for myself, but as a woman, it's really hard to not feel dejected. My rational side says I shouldn't care, but when you look at celebrities and influencers looking snatched, it's hard to not feel like I'll never measure up. And if it's having an effect on elder millennials like myself, someone with way more years of life experience, imagine what it's doing to young people. The idea that anyone who doesn't look snatched is somehow failing to measure up is a very harmful message. We need to prioritize our physical and mental health over chasing an unattainable ideal. And that's it from me, guys. Have I missed any trends that you think should have made the list? Or did I get anything wrong? Feel free to disagree in the comment section. I'm all about hearing different opinions and perspectives. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more fashion hot takes. Thank you so much for watching. Stay bold, stay confident, and most importantly, stay true to your style. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.